Yo, what's up guys, it's Dre27, welcome back. I hope you guys are having a great day. I know this is not my typical upload time. I will still have a video for you guys Sunday at 10 a.m. just like normal, but I've been getting a lot of requests from people who are asking what my settings are for PS5 in 2024. So I figured I'd just go ahead and make a video for you guys. I'll try to power through, try not to bore you too much, but I will explain what I'm using and why I use it. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it, guys. Let's start out with controller. So as you're going to notice here, my button layout, I've been playing tactical for so long at this point, like 5 years, that it's just natural for me. I know a lot of people don't really play with this layout, but it's just something that I'm used to. I truly feel like you need to play with a lot of different layouts if you don't know what you want to use. And it really is preference. I don't know that one is better than another. At the end of the day, all the buttons do the same thing. It's just the order in which that is comfortable for you. And for me, I've been using tactical forever, so that's why I went ahead and I've just been using it forever. So I just prefer to have slide on my R3 as opposed to my circle. Moving down, as you can see here, guys, everything else is pretty generic, all default stuff here. What is important here is I do have Hall effect thumbsticks, which are pretty new. So I had the benefit of using dead zones at 0 for both of my sticks. So the cool thing is Call of Duty now has this test stick dead zone to where you can see if you have any stick drift, and then you can adjust, left or right, depending on, having the dead zone set to where your character doesn't move on its own. If you do have a little bit of stick drift, honestly, if it's in the left stick or the right stick for that matter, maybe just have a little bit of stick drift just so you can activate that aim assist that much easier. I have the fortunate benefit of having Hall effects, so for me 0-0 is kind of where I'm at. And then you'll notice right here as well that if you take a look at your settings, this usually defaults to like either 10 or 15. I can't remember off the top of my head. This is your L2 and right 2 trigger. Everybody should have this at 0, and I don't know that a lot of people know that it's not at 0. So if you don't have this changed to 0, basically it'll just give you that much less latency between when you pull the trigger and the action inside the game. So I highly recommend adding these to 0. Moving over to aim, as you can see, I play on 7.7. Again, I'm using Hall effect. It can be a little tricky with sensitivity when it comes to the style of sticks that you have on your controller. But I've been running 7.7, and I also use, if you guys know what they are, Control Freaks, hashtag not an ad. I just pay for them. They're not sponsored or anything or affiliated. But I use currently the black ring on my right stick for my aim, obviously. So that is where I feel comfortable. Sensitivity, in my opinion, is truly on the person who is using the controller. So make sure you play around. My recommendation, if you're still looking for that sense that's perfect for you, spend some time, go into a custom lobby of multiplayer and sit there shooting bots until you can consistently hit headshots, chest shots, or wherever you're trying to target until you can get it to where you feel very, very comfortable. I would just continue to mess with it. That said, as you can see here, sensitivity multiplier, I leave that default at 0. It's going to be the same here, all standard settings. My tac stance sensitivity, I play at 1.10. Again, preference, you should mess around with it and see what feels good for you. Aim response curve type, this has been on dynamic basically since Warzone 1. It's kind of the meta. You can try these other two, standard and linear. The descriptions are right there. For me personally, dynamic is what's always worked the best on this game, so I've just stuck with it and I have no issues. ADS sensitivity, transition timing, gradual. I'm not sure. I believe gradual is the default setting. You could mess around with this. This can get a little interesting on basically what this is the activation of that sense change when you ADS. For me, I just had it on gradual forever and I haven't really messed with it, but I do know some people like instant. As soon as you ADS, that it changes this, the sensitivity. So I've just had it on gradual forever. Custom per zoom, I have mine on. As you can see here, my iron sights in 1.x is at 0.9. as well as 2x to 3x. I like a little slower sense in those close range fights. And then for my higher zooms, a little bit higher sense, so I can move when I'm ADSing with a sniper and a larger zoom optic better across my screen. Target aim assist is obviously on. We want our aim assist on, right? Aim assist type, same, just default. There was a time that people were using Black Ops back in the day, but I think default is perfectly fine, and I honestly can't tell the difference between the other ones. ADS sensitivity or ADS aim assist is on, and that's pretty much on this page. Moving over to gameplay. So I'm one of those weirdos. A lot of people play with auto attack sprint on. But ever since Modern Warfare 2 came out and the sprint to fire issue that was on that game because there was just no movement, I've unfortunately become accustomed to regular sprint. So everything I do is intentional. If I'm tack sprinting, it's because I pushed it in my left stick to tack sprint. I have ultimate control of my character at all times. So I know it kills your left stick frequently for a lot of people, but I'm just used to it. So this is what I've stuck with for quite a while now, and I can't play on tack sprint anymore. I just can't. I don't know why, but I can't. So I don't play with it on. Moving on here, toggle, auto move forward. I don't know a lot of people that play with this on. I just have it off. I always want full control of my operator at all times. I don't want to moving forward. What I did do is I changed this to single tap to run. I think it defaults to double tap. So because I don't play automatic tack sprint, all I have to do is press one time my left stick, and then I go into a tack sprint. Mantles, I have all of these off because, again, I want ultimate control of my character. I don't want him mantling just because I'm close to an object or a ledge or something like that. So I have them all off. If I'm going to mantle, it's because I'm going to press X. The one downside to that is it does make getting in and out of windows sometimes kind of annoying because it doesn't do it for you automatically. So that can be a little frustrating, but at least I don't auto mantle over ledges that I don't want to do that. So that was my main reason of turning these off. Slide behavior, hybrid, it defaults to tap to slide. JGod did a whole video explaining the differences between all of these settings and the latencies between them. Hybrid is by far the best choice. It's a recent addition to this game. If you're not using hybrid, I don't know what you're doing with your life, because this is the best way to do it for diving and sliding. Plunge into water, trigger, same. Parachute, I have mine off. I don't need the parachute being pulled. If I die, I die. It's because I wasn't paying attention. So I'm not going to be caught out parachute activating on its own. I just get beamed out of the sky. Sprinting door dash, I don't know anybody that has that off. Mantle only for the ledge climb behavior. Again, I don't need it to be movement based. I want to have intentional choices when I'm trying to mantle over things. Gas mask activation, manual, aim down sight behavior, default. Change zoom activation, same thing. Equipment behavior, these are all default settings that everyone pretty much has. For priorities, interact or reload behavior, I do prioritize interact. So when I run into a building, especially in the beginning of the map, I can just spam square and I'll be able to pick up items off the ground. But as a consequence of that, for running this setting, that means I have to hold square to reload when I'm around any loot or in a vehicle or stuff like that. So I'm used to holding reload for when I reload, but a lot of other people, maybe that might be weird to you. So just keep that in mind if you do prioritize to interact. It makes it faster for me to loot, but the downside is I have to remember to hold to press square to reload. Armor plate behavior, I have apply all on. Just makes sense for me to do that because even if someone's pushing me, all I have to do to cancel it is just press triangle again, and it brings my weapon back out. So it's just easier for me to only have to press triangle once. This is standard. So this is a little weird. This defaults to directional buttons. When Modern Warfare 2 came out and we had backpack looting, I got used to using the stick because it was familiar for me kind of when I used to play Apex. So that's just a preference choice, but that is how I loot my backpack. C4, 1x1, pretty easy. Akimbo behavior, I like running paired, so I only have to pull one trigger for the akimbo to go off, both of them. And that is it for these. All right, moving on to graphics. There's not a lot of graphical options for the PlayStation 5, but we do have some. So I have on-demand texture streaming on. I'm not even sure what it is, but those are what I have right here. Might even be default settings, to be honest. World and weapon motion blurs are both off, just less, stuff going on your screen that you don't need. Film grain down to 0. Field of depth off. I don't need blurred edges when I'm ADSing. Fidelity cast, I have it on and max at 100. I think that this just sharpens the whole game and makes it look a little bit better. I don't know how much it's doing, whether it's on or off, but I just have it on just in case. I do have a 144 hertz monitor, so a 27-inch monitor, so I do run 120 hertz refresh rate, which is the max for the PlayStation 5. So that is nice that that's an option. And then field of view, I think this is one of those preference things again. I know a lot of people that play on 100, they play on 110, they play on 120. I think it's just preference. Just play around with it and see what, works for you and what you like. I've been on 112 for quite a while now, so I don't even think about it. That's just where I'm at on that. I don't feel like I have any issues. Camera movement, make sure this is default at 100. You put that as low as it can go, which is 50%. Same for the third person. Inverted flashbang, this is just a nice little feature that they added in. So when you get flash, your screen will go black instead of white. light so you don't get blinded in the middle of the night. And then my brightness is set to 50, and then my safe area is to the corners on both sides. So I have a 27-inch monitor, 144 hertz, so I just utilize the whole thing. Some people, they like to minimize their safe area so their mini map is more closer towards the center of the screen. I personally don't feel like I need that. I feel like I sit a good distance from my monitor. I would say it's about 1.5 feet, so I feel like I don't need to do that. All right, moving on to audio settings. Now, this is where on PS5 it gets weird because I don't know how, like, which setting to really run, which one sounds best, quote unquote. So I've just been using TV for the last few months. It feels like it's decent. The audio on console is just chalk. So sometimes I've been running headphone bass boost or headphones TV. I mess around with these three. I don't know if there's a significant difference between any of them, but I've been playing on TV lately. That said, down over my volumes here, obviously I don't really care for the music volume, so it's at 0. Same with the cinematic and the war tracks. And then master volume, dialogue, and effects are maxed at 100. And I think that wraps up audio, right? Yep. Okay. Interfaces are pretty much all default. What is important in interface is the color customization. So I have custom, as you can see here, and these are just my preferences. I spent time thinking, what do I like, what do I don't like, on what colors I want to see in the game. So that's those right there. And then the filter settings, I am running filter 2 at JGod's recommendation, and then color filter target is both world and interface, and then both are at 100. So this just brightens up your baseline of your game. It makes it look a little bit cleaner and stand out on certain items. Moving down, got your square minimap that comes defaulted. Minimap rotations on, horizontal compass on, crosshairs on, and I believe it's just default. Yep, I go with the crosshair dot, not the center dot. Visual hit markers on, damage base hit markers on, player's name, and that wraps it up. All right, guys, those are my settings that I have in 2024. In my opinion, these are the best PS5 settings that you can have currently for Warzone. If you guys do like my video, I'd appreciate if you guys hit that like button. If you guys are new to the channel and want to come back for more content, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you guys want to see more tips and tricks, make sure you guys comment down below something that you might want to see. Maybe you want more in-depth or an explanation on why I run certain settings that I do. Please let me know down in the comments. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.